Shack Pack, can y'all hear me okay? No echoing? No technological issues? Please hit that yes button, like number one button. 3 if I'm really malfunctioning, 2 if I'm on mute. Thank you, Team Sassy, for your super sticker, super chat, because I don't know which one is which. So I just say, hey, what the hell? And then thank you also for 3+3 for his $2 super chat. Thank you, and super sticker. Oh my God, Salty fixed a light bulb. Thank God I always have suggested do-it-yourself videos on YouTube because that's what helped him out. I'm so happy. So anyways, let me see. Tonight we are going to go ahead and continue on with the saga of Shonda Vondra Ark. It's funny because I found her Facebook page, right? She does have a YouTube channel as well. Paul Ferguson also has a YouTube channel, and he also has a Facebook page. As I was researching, I noticed there's a lot of family members that have completely shut their comments or anything on their Facebook down, so I guess nobody can see anything. So, but I can understand the situation, right? But anyways, it was her Facebook page, and yeah, I had to create some weird thing just to get access to it. Okay. Now, and no, I'm not a subscriber of Facebook, but what I found was there was very limited information on this woman. As far as she only showed a couple of pictures of her kids, all of them. And basically she showed a lot of her younger one. But then there was a whole bunch of weird posts, right? And you had to scroll down and down and down, and you had to keep on going. You still say the repetitive stuff that you saw in the beginning. But as you scroll down more and more, you hear a lot of the comments that she would post on Facebook. And I'm going all the way back as 2010. Okay. So obviously we know that she was currently married to a guy named Adam, who has obviously passed on. He's the one who had the stroke in the January, 7 months before Timothy had died, right? Then you have her ex-husband, who is Eric. Okay. Now, Eric is obviously probably remarried because there's a stepmother involved, right? She is apparently the one and only one that came from Florida to go to Paul Ferguson's trial or court case. So what I found interesting when I was reading these Facebook posts that she posted, obviously she was, talking about her anniversary. She was talking about how she, adored her husband, et cetera, et cetera. But it was really interesting because one caught my eye that made me question, does she have schizophrenia or does she hear voices or something? Because of the comment that was made. I'm not no psychologist, okay, by any means, but it was just the way people put things and they type them, because I know I can type things and make errors, and sometimes it doesn't make sense. Was it a deliberate one that she consciously was aware of making it? Or was it to mean something else or mean some dry humor? I have no idea. But I found that quite interesting. So then we go to Paul, right? And I watched the video that he posted on YouTube. It was the day before he actually got arrested. Okay. So his mother got arrested the day prior, because they end up nailing him the day after or 2 days after, something like that. So anyways, when hold on here, I'm seeing, you guys can't hear me, right? I just want to make sure, because I get carried away in conversation. So anyway, so I go to Paul's, right, and I'm watching the video on his Facebook page. And he is then talking to obviously his friends or family, right? He's talking about how, um, his brother passed away and they're doing fine. I think he was referencing him and his dog because obviously his mother was arrested. And I don't think he grasped the seriousness of the whole situation because of his reaction or his response. But he was also talking in reference to, he might not be able to communicate through a cell phone. He might have to use the stepfathers or something like that. Um, so that I thought was kind of interesting. But you scroll down his pages as well, and you don't really see anything posted about Timothy, as you go through the history. So if you go on Facebook, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys do your own research too, because there's so much stuff on there. It would be worth for you to go and just look at it, so you can just analyze the situation, see what their personalities are like. Go to Facebook, Shonda, and then space Vandra Ark all together. Don't separate the words. And go to her page there. Now, Paul Ferguson, there's so many Paul Fergusons on Facebook. You really have to find the one where he's sitting on a swing in like a wedding suit. Okay. So that would be the one. What I found interesting on her friends list was that she didn't even have her son Paul befriended at all. She's got her two oldest kids, but she didn't have Paul. Just let's remember that. She did not have Paul. She did not have Timothy. And she obviously friended her oldest son. And he's only got like two friends. I guess he's not active on Facebook, and I don't blame him. I'm anti-Facebook too. So I found that quite interesting because obviously Paul was 19 at the time. You would think that a mother would want to, as much control as she had over him, over cameras and surveillance and everything, you would think that she would want to befriend her son Paul. But I scanned through 470 some people and I did not see him at all. Okay. Another thing I want to point out, when you do go to the Facebook page and you look at the video that he did create before he went to jail, it's the only and last one, how skinny he is. He's laying down with his dog, right? But he's got his one leg up and his knee up. And you could see how skinny this kid is. And I can only imagine how skinnier than he already was skinny. Because remember when he testified against his mother, how his cheeks were very sunk in? He was already skinny. This kid was even skinnier as he's been incarcerated, right? So I'm really highly suspecting she definitely had more than just mental control, emotional control, but I think really that kid was probably, it's almost like, what is that one syndrome, Marfan syndrome or something like that? Does anybody familiarize with that syndrome? Um, oh gosh, I can't remember that diagnosis. But with that kind of diagnosis, it's very similar to the type of personality traits that he's exhibiting, as far as, doing the things that he's under the control of his mother, and having the reactive disassociation disorder, whatever you want to call it. So I find this all fascinating. I mean, obviously, this whole weekend I haven't really done any research on it, but um, and and a few people have ticked on it and stuff like that. But this one, I really wanted to study it a little bit more because I was quite disturbed. Here, you got a family that presents themselves to be normal, but yet this happens. Another thing I want to point out that nobody has noticed yet on YouTube, not one person. When you go to her Facebook page and you scroll and scroll and scroll, You go to the years of 2010, 16, 15, etc. Okay. There's a post that she makes about visiting her kids, having a 3-hour visitation. Now, the one thing a lot of people are saying, what's up with this ex-husband, right? What is up with this ex-husband? What is the deal? And how did she, we know she got a divorce, but people are really wanting to know their court documents, what's involved. But there's minor children in the state of Florida. That's you're not going to get that kind of information. Not when there was kids involved that are minors. A lot of courts are now flagging that as, putting it sealed. And but she was married to Eric at the time, you guys. This is what I found out. She was married to Eric at the time when she was seeing her kids for 3 hours. Her and her ex-husband, Eric. How I know? It continued on, and little bits of pieces of information on that also made comments in reference to uh, the two older boys staying with family members. Okay. So something happened and transpired while she was married to Eric. What do we know? What do we not know? That's what we want to know. And someday maybe we will know, right? That's definitely something I am curious about. The dynamics of that. What happened while she was married to Eric for Eric and Shonda to have the 3-hour visitation? Something happened. Now, I'm just going by what I read on Facebook, you guys. I have not seen no court documents. I have not talked to nobody yet. But I caught that and I was baffled. So something transpired while she was currently married to Eric, because this was early on. And then later, as you scroll up, you go through the timeline, you can see a comment that she made. Obviously, she must have been going through her divorce, that caught her off guard, I'm sure. Yeah, it's just interesting. So go to Shonda. It's Shanda Vondra, Vandra, Vondra, Vandra Ark together. Those two last parts of her name are put together. Okay. And then you guys will be able to read and figure out, maybe you'll be able to see the same thing that I'm seeing, So what I wanted to talk about tonight was, which I thought was interesting, was while we were delayed on me putting a video up last week. Obviously, I was at work and I caught the news and I was like, holy crap, this is breaking news. Obviously, Paul Ferguson had pled guilty to first-degree child abuse. Now, grant you, the maximum sentence is life imprisonment, right? There's no death penalty out there in Michigan. But I don't think he's going to get life sentence. And I'll tell you why. When the judge was talking to the attorneys, he was wanting to basically say he wanted to get as much information from his psych eval, because obviously that's going to be mandatory before sentencing hearing. But he wants to get as much information on Paul. Excuse me. And I think the reason why he stressed it, because if you clued on to this part, if you read or listened to his plea, and it was shown on court TV, and we can talk about that too, and I'll show it, was he didn't imply or even give the statement of, the possibility of X amount of time serving in prison, right? All of that was absent in the conversation, which I found interesting. Excuse me. I'm having an allergy attack, you guys. Curious to know exactly why she was only allowed supervised visitation with her kids. I am curious too. And I'm even more curious because of that Facebook post. She was married, and it was her and Eric that had the 3-hour supervised visit. That's how I gathered it. I mean, you guys go look at it and you tell me something differently. If you guys see something and interpret it something different, please let me know. I don't want to give misinformation, but I'm just saying this is how I interpreted it. So, the obit for Adam Vondra Ark, no. How did he die? I mean, obviously he had a stroke, supposedly from an aorta blockage, right? But I'm curious. I haven't even typed that up. So maybe I should type that up. Let me see here. Say Adam Vandra Ark obit. Let me type that in. So obviously, okay. So let me share this with you guys, okay? Let me get to my page here because I am just so talented with sharing screens. Let's go right here. All right. So this is Adam Vandra Ark. Okay. And obviously, it says, which I got to go to a different page to read the darn thing because I am blind as a bat with small print. So Vandra Ark, Adam Vandra Ark, was born July 24th, 73, died February 8th of 2023 from Grand Rapids, Michigan. He was 49 years old, welcomed home by his Lord on the February 8th after a brief battle with leukemia. Interesting. So Adam's life was defined by long suffering tempered by hope, partially because of his physical disabilities, but also because of his sport fandoms. While his own forays into a wheelchair, basketball, and softball, and his voracious love of the Michigan Wolverines provided both disappointment and elation, nothing optimized his balance of realism with relentless optimism like his lifetime love of the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs of 2016 World Series championship and the celebration party in Chicago were highlights of his life. This resilience on his hope meant that Adam saw the good in people. This is, I believe, who did this thing right here? This is from something press. I can't even read it. Does anybody know? I got to check this out real quick. Grand Rapids Press. Okay. I just want to make sure I give reference to it, and then I'll have to type it in. So anyways, the reliance on hope meant that Adam saw the good in people. This, in addition to his strength of spirit, unshakable faith, and quick sense of humor, made him an inspiration to those who knew him. God gave him a miraculous gift to parents Stephen and Dawn Vandra Ark, a daddy to the joy of his life, Gabriel as a dear brother to Heather and Christian Altina, an uncle to their children Seth, Elijah, Ella, and Sophie. He will also be specially missed by longtime friends Richard Stratton, Holly Walton. His hope in life has been fulfilled. No more night, no more pain, no more tears, never crying again. Praises to the great I Am. We will live in the light of the rising Lamb. Following a private interment, a celebration of Adam's life will be held. Okay, so there we go. So he died of leukemia. I'm wondering if that is the cause of why he was in a wheelchair. Does anybody know? I'm just curious because they said he had disabilities, right? So are they defining his leukemia as a disability, or did he have a disability before the leukemia and everything just domino affected him? Because we ultimately know from what I read uh, online was that he had a stroke due to an aorta blockage. So that sucks. That's a very painful way to go, let me tell you. Thank you so much, Superstar, for your super sticker, super chat of $1. Thank you so much. Um, that's so sad. Shonda wasn't mentioned, but Gabriel was. That's kind of interesting, you know? I mean, this whole thing makes me wonder. I mean, if you read her Facebook post, it was kind of strange in a way to me. I took it as strange. Um, I could see she's a me person, definitely a me kind of type person. Um, but I don't know. I'm just wondering. You're a mother of 5 kids, right? But you don't befriend your kid on Facebook. He lives with you. You have him assist in all your demands. You got to remember, no cell phone. She's made. I consider it like a threat to a child. Some of the texts that she sent to her son Paul. I could never imagine sending shit like that to my kids. Hell no. That's just never going to happen. Um, I just don't get it. I really don't. But I really do believe she mistreated him, most definitely. So anyway, so I got this. Um, let me see. I think we've already listened to the mother, right? If I can remember right. Yeah, she's obviously not a caregiver, you guys. I mean, come on, think about it. And you know what's even more sad is that that young boy, he had a very full face. He looked very happy, okay, when he was obviously with his father. But Paul looks more like a kid with disabilities than Timothy did on the physical aspects. And then when you hear some of the videos, and I think he was in one when he was doing the YouTube thing. You could hear Timothy in the background, and it was so heart-wrenching. Um, to me, I look at it as a normal kid. I mean, maybe it's because I oversee disabilities and I'm able to adapt and work with children that have disabilities. But I, I just never seen anything like this. But I am gonna be so curious about her psych evaluation. And you know what's gonna be sad, guys, is we're not gonna damn see it unless they present it to the judge and allow it to be seen in court docs. That's the only way we're going to be able to get that because of HIPAA. And it's going to suck. And the only time we're going to hear anything about Paul is obviously, with what the attorneys share with the judge in order to make a decision on the sentencing. But they can also restrict what they want to share, because a judge can just look at it and review it in his own chambers, and then, I guess the jury could review it too and decide. I don't know if that plays into a role. I would think it does take into consideration. I don't know. But like everybody else has questioned that work in the legal field, I have never heard of a jury asking questions to plaintiffs or defendants. Never. And they did also do that to a Florida case as well. And I was kind of thrown back by that. I did put a link in the whatchamacallit. I'm going to throw it in there just in case. Yeah, I think he definitely looks scared on the stand looking at her. Most definitely. So tonight's going to be obviously a quick night. I got to work tomorrow, you guys. But I tried to want to do a stream with you guys this weekend. Things didn't work out. And I was going to pop live real quick on Christmas, and that didn't work. My poor dog got sick and died, and oh, hell broke loose. And so yesterday I spent time dealing with that. And so I was kind of unprepared a little bit tonight because it was just one of those, I wanted to do it. And the more I practice, right, it gets better. So let me share a screen with you with Paul. I'll type it in again. Yeah, that just... Boy, I need one of those remote control things, you know, where you can swap screens and go on that. There's a thing where you can do that, and I think Salty knows what it is. I can't remember what it's called. But let's go here, and I will go back over here, and we could share this. I'm such a nitwit when it comes to this kind of stuff, you guys. I really am. So, where is it? Is it that one? Oh, you guys, bear with me. This is horrible. I cannot believe I cannot find what I was typing in. Nope. 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 Well, I could share this one.
We've been telling you we're going to take you out to that courtroom in Michigan for the tortured son murder trial. And Paul Ferguson is now in front of the judge. He entered the courtroom. He entered with his attorney. The judge entered the courtroom and proceedings began. We're going to take you back to that moment when the judge enters. So let's go out to that courtroom in Michigan.
Right before the court is filed 2022-3537 FC for the state of Michigan versus Paul Ferguson. Are you Paul Ferguson, sir?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Ferguson, can you please rise and raise your right hand?
I don't know about you guys, but I love this judge.
Swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do, sir.
Put your hand down and grab a seat. Mr. Ferguson is represented today by Mr. Joshua Eldon Brady. The people are represented by Mr. Matthew Roberts. The date and time scheduled for a status conference on this case. The court's been informed that there is going to be a plea. Is that correct, Mr. Roberts?
Yes, Your Honor. At this time, it is my understanding that Mr. Ferguson does intend to offer the court a plea to the charge of child abuse in the first degree.
Which I'm really glad he did.
The trial last week of the co-defendant in this matter, Shonda Vondra Ark. She was ultimately convicted by a jury of first-degree felony murder as well as first-degree child abuse. I did have an opportunity to speak with the jury after that, as Mr. Ferguson was a witness in that case and testified for the prosecution. I can report to the court that after my conversations with the jury in this case, as well as looking back over Mr. Ferguson's cooperation, it's my intention at this point that no additional charges will be filed against Mr. Ferguson in exchange for him pleading here today to this charge of first-degree child abuse. That final decision was not made. However, I need to be clear about this until after consulting with the jury and certainly getting some input from the jury about Mr. Ferguson's testimony and what that meant ultimately in the case against Shanda Vondra Ark. It's my further understanding, and I've indicated this to the court in chambers, that as a result of the cooperation that Mr. Ferguson has provided and pursuant to the commitment that we made to inform the sentencing court, yourself, of his cooperation, that I will ask the court to impose, at the time of sentencing in this matter, impose a sentence within the Michigan sentencing guidelines for this offense. Obviously, that will go to the minimum offense, and then the court will still have to make a determination as
keyword
sentence,
minimum,
as well as the maximum potential sentence. But I will ask the court to make a sentencing commitment within those sentencing guidelines. It's my understanding the court at this point has not made any commitments in relation to any sentencing, and that is simply my recommendation here with the recommendation for
whatever
a
charges.
sentence within the sentencing guidelines, but the court has not yet committed to that at this point.
All right,
Court has
Mr.
not
Eldon Brady,
committed.
any comments regarding Mr. Roberts' statements?
I saw a little bit. I just want to clarify the simple version of Mr. Roberts' statement. It's our understanding that the people's commitment is, in exchange for Mr. Ferguson pleading as charged to the child abuse in the first degree, that the people are committing that there will be no additional charges related
That's why I
to
looked
the
at the
same set of
prosecutor. He's making
circumstances
sure
brought
he ain't
against him
getting
in this
screwed
case,
over either, because there
and
was
that
an
the people
agreement.
will not ask for a sentence above the sentencing guidelines in this case, as well as continuing to fully and fairly inform the court of Mr.
The
Ferguson's
sentence
cooperation.
guidelines.
Is that correct, Mr. Roberts?
Yes, that's what I indicated.
All right. Mr. Ferguson, did you hear the statements that were made by both Mr. Roberts as well as your attorney, Mr. Eldon Brady?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand the terms of the agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, you need to understand, although Mr. Roberts is going to make a sentencing recommendation to the court to stay within guidelines, that is not binding upon the court. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
I have not committed to any particular sentence,
Judge
and I told
protecting
the
himself.
attorneys essentially, I'm not
But he has
committing
to.
to stay even within the guidelines. There's a lot of things I need to see in terms of a pre-sentence report and in terms of some information that Mr. Eldon Brady intends to offer the court. But I want you to understand before we go on with this plea that there is no guarantee that it would be within guidelines. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, see, that's the key part. Sentencing report and the things that they're going to present to the court. So obviously, they're going to do whatever they can do to prove whatever his mental capacity, his mental health situation, everything, so the court can take that into consideration. Now, remember, a judge can use discretion. A jury ultimately decides, but the judge can use discretion to a certain degree, but from the minimum to the maximum within the guidelines. So there's guidelines that they have to go by. And so there's a good chance that he might be right in the middle. I don't think he's going to get life, but if they can prove some type of mental defect or some kind of situation, anything, whatever they're looking for in particular to prove that this individual was not like your Yojo murderer, like had the mental process of actually doing it with intent, I think that's what they're trying to get at. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, this is definitely the kind of case that changes your view of humanity. Oh, Lord. I'm having a hard time with these cases with child abuse. I don't think he's there when mentally either. I agree. I know he participated in the torture, but I fully believe it was forced and he was scared and craving a mother's love. I hope the judge has mercy. I agree with you, Kat. So do I. I really sensed it. I felt it right away. And do you know how many mothers, even non-mothers, even men, have sensed the same thing? And we don't get this sense or this intuition with other cases, right? But this one really triggered a lot of people with his state of mind, his demeanor, his physical appearance. Everything struck us to a core where we sensed there had to have been some type of abuse. I don't think that kid was fed a lot. Of course, on his videos, he talks about, making his little dishes, but that kid ate a lot of rice. I'll tell you that right now. And there's not a lot of calories in rice, right? I don't think there's any. So, rice bowls and stuff. But that last video he did on Facebook, I'm telling you, that kid was really damn ass skinny. And I know tall kids can be skinny too, but you could see the knuckles and you could see the bones, of his knee, his joint, like just the shape of it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, wow, that kid don't have enough meat on him. I I mean, my kid is skinny, but he eats, and he ain't that darn thin and frail, and he's tall, so I don't get that part. Um, but yeah, he definitely seemed detached. So you saw it too, Start. Yeah, I figured you did because, yeah, we talked. But um, yeah. And he was on the stand and they asked him if he loved Timothy. And he said, yes, apparently not enough. And, a lot of people have misinterpreted that comment too. I think what he meant that people didn't understand because they can't grasp somebody responding like that. I think that kid was extremely forthcoming and very honest with his response. I mean, that was an intelligent response, to be honest with you. That one is basically saying, I think he definitely loved his brother, but he was being honest by saying, I guess I didn't love him enough because of what I put him through as well and what I allowed my mother to do to him. I think guilt and resentment, everything, now that he's had like that police officer talking to him, he's got other people on the outside, saying this is not normal. This is not normal. Obviously at that moment, he didn't see anything wrong with that at that point until, he saw how thin his brother was getting. Definitely sent a picture to his mother, pointed it out, and she's like, oh, just give him a piece of bread, maybe 2 pieces of bread, right? I mean, Lord, I hope they take her meals. I really do. I hope she goes hungry for a little bit. I really do. Let's
The
hear it.
court, if it exceeded guidelines, all the guidelines are advisory. The court would certainly have to put grounds why it was going outside those guidelines. But again, there's no guarantee. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And knowing all of that, you still wish to go forward with the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Roberts, you can read the information.
The information then would read that on or about July 6th of 2022 in the city of Norton Shores at 4788 Marshall Road in the county of Muskegon and in the state of Michigan, that Paul Ferguson did knowingly or intentionally cause serious physical harm to a child. Contrary to Michigan law, this charge is known as child abuse in the first degree. That is a felony. It is punishable by life or any term of years.
All right, Mr. Ferguson, did you hear the prosecutor read the felony information?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand the name and the elements of the offense that you face?
Yes, Your Honor.
In the offense you'd be pleading guilty to in count 1 is called child abuse in the first degree. That is a felony punished by up to life or any term of years. There's no mandatory minimum sentence you must serve. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
As of this charge, you have 1 of 4 plea choices. First is a nolo contendere plea. It's commonly called a no contest plea. It's a plea where you choose not to fight the charge for record and sentencing purposes. It operates as a guilty plea. Second, you can plead guilty. Third, you can plead not guilty. And fourth, you can stand mute, which means you would not speak. And I would enter a not guilty plea on your behalf. Do you understand the 4 pleas?
Yes, Your Honor.
At sentencing, both you and your attorney will be given a reasonable opportunity to read a pre-sentence report to make additions, corrections, or comments, and the court will pronounce your sentence. Are you prepared to enter a plea at this time?
Yes, Your Honor.
What is your plea to count
I don't
1,
think he
child abuse in the
understands
first
fully
degree?
everything.
Guilty, Your Honor.
Has anyone promised you anything else beyond the matters recited here today to get you to plead guilty?
No, Your Honor.
Anyone threaten you to plead guilty?
No, Your Honor.
It's pleading guilty of your own free choice.
Yes, Your Honor.
Right, your plea gives up all the rights listed on the advice or rights form that you signed. Those rights include the right to a trial by a jury, the opportunity to do a trial by the court without a jury if you chose. And the prosecutor and the court agreed. You have the right to presume innocent until proven guilty, to have the prosecutor prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty, to have the witnesses against you appear at the trial, to question the witnesses against you, to have the court order any witnesses you have for your defense to appear at the trial, to remain silent during the trial, to not have that silence used against you, and to testify at the trial if you wish to testify. Do you understand that your guilty plea gives up these rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you agree to give up those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your plea gives up any claim that it was a result of a secret promise or a threat that was not disclosed to the court at this plea proceeding. It also gives up the right to claim later that it was not your own choice under the plea. Your plea changes your appellate rights from having the right to appeal to having to seek leave or permission to appeal to the Court of Appeals. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
To the attorneys, are either one of you aware any promises, threats, or inducements regarding the plea other than those already
See,
disclosed in the record, Mr.
he's
Roberts
paying
and
attention to
Mr.
things
Eldon
around
Brady?
him in his
No,
area.
Your
I
Honor.
don't think he's really paying
Mr.
attention
Eldon
to
Brady, do
what's
you wish
really,
to
really going on.
question your client regarding
I
the
think he's
factual
got some
basis for the plea?
confusion
Yes,
going
please,
on.
Your Honor.
You may proceed.
But he
Mr.
fidgets with
Ferguson,
his
you
hands
heard
a lot.
the information that was read by
Of
Mr.
course,
Roberts.
handcuffs suck.
Yes, Your Honor.
And we just need a yes or no answer, so it's clear for the record.
See?
You heard the
Right
information
there,
read by
perfect.
Mr. Roberts,
Yes.
and you heard the
Nervous, too.
address mentioned in that information.
Yes, sir.
And from the start of 2022 until your arrest, did you live at that address?
Yes.
And did your mother, Shonda Vondra Ark, also live at that address?
Yes.
And did your younger brother, Timothy Ferguson, who was 15 years old at the time, also live at that address with you?
Yes.
All right, we're getting into the factual basis for the
Wow.
plea. This is all pretty
That's
typical when you have a guilty.
you know, I don't know. What do you guys think about him making that plea? I think it was pretty courageous of him to actually stand up to the plate and take it like a man, honestly. I mean, there's not a lot of people that, I mean, it's hard enough to have to testify against your mother, right? That's got to be hard for a family member. And then coming to the realization of, oh, crap, my mother put me in a bad situation and I participated in it, right? I think he does have regret and guilt. And that's why he was so forthcoming in taking a plea deal, not just to testify against his mother. I think he had the direction of legal counsel, obviously suggesting that it would be in his best interest. But I really think that this kid, being that he had stated that, he cracked, right? He cracked because obviously it affected him too much, right? And I think he would have taken responsibility regardless, even though he had legal counsel to direct him to doing such. But what are your guys' thoughts on that? I mean, are we losing people, guys? Are we losing everybody? It's a small crowd tonight. I don't know. But then we have, I was going to show that Facebook thing, guys, but I can't because I didn't program their password. So I can't show it, unfortunately, on the device that I'm trying to use right now. So it kind of sucks. But that's why I was trying to give you guys the information on looking for it. And, but I just, the things that I observed on it, I think are interesting enough to where it'll add to your curiosity to look into it too. And it can be like a pet project, this case. But there was what else? The things in regards to the father. I know a lot of people wanted to know answers about that and to see if in the future, if somebody's going to charge him with anything because of the fact that he sent Timothy to his mother against a court order. So I'm wondering if both of them were involved in something that resulted in them losing temporary custody, where DCF got involved, right? Where they had the 3-hour visitation, because she made that post before her anniversary of 11 years. That's what I'm saying. So that's how I know it happened before. And she talks about Eric, and them going to see the kids. So what transpired? Was it a medical condition? Was it a physical alteration? Was it domestic violence? Was it neglect? God knows what it was, right? We don't know the history of Eric, and we don't know the history of her too well. But maybe after they divorced, he then did what he had to do to regain his position, and that's why he had it. I don't know. If anybody has that information, I would be curious to know, what the dynamics were on that. I just want to know why she was only allowed a 3-hour visitation for a month, during a month time. So this is not like a 3-hour once a week kind of thing. It's a 3-hour, I think, once a month. So something had to happen that was significant for her to only get that, but, you don't know what to answer? What do you mean? You don't know what to answer? I said too much? Oh, you mean I'm talking too much? Probably. I'm throwing too many things out there, aren't I? Um, but yeah, so I'm curious about that. And I definitely will stream when we go to the sentencing hearing, because he's going to have a sentencing hearing before his mother on the same day. Same day, you guys, January 29th. So we're going to be glued into that day. I wonder what day the actual day is on the calendar for that trial, because I hope I don't have to work. If I do, I have to take the day off. I will take the day off for that one because I really want to pay attention to it. But I am so curious about that. And then also look into, now I sent Star. I don't have it on hand right now, but I think you've got his YouTube channel. It's like something Fergie or um, something. It's not his name, you guys. His YouTube channel. I know I sent it to people too. Oh yeah. So if anybody has it, yeah, it's a Monday. It's a Monday. Oh, here I'm thinking today's a Monday. Oh my God, Lord, I'm really out of it. Christmas was on Monday. Shit, I'm a day behind myself, guys. Yeah, because I ended up not working yesterday as a result, and then I came to work today, and it was like, oh, really? One of those kind of days, So that's what we're gonna do. Follow the trial, the hearing, I should say, on the 29th of January. Two, if anybody in the chat room, I think Star might have it, Salty might have it, Ranger might have it. Send me or put it in the link, or I mean, you can link it, or you could post it in the chat, so then we can share it amongst everybody, so you guys can actually go on the YouTube channel and look at it. I'm sorry, I'm unprepared today. Like I said, I'm just throwing this shit together today. But watch it, observe it. I found it quite interesting. I really did. And before he worked at Applebee's, he worked at a pizza shop before. So he's had 2 jobs at his young age that I've discovered. And I don't know how long the duration of that first job was, but obviously he was working with Applebee's for about a year, at least that I've observed, before his brother passed. And this is definitely something that was on my mind, and I thought about you guys, and I definitely wanted to bring it up. Now, remember when we were listening to Shonda, okay? And she was talking the day that Timothy was found. Obviously, he was found deceased, right? But she says the night before, she gave him a warm bath. Now, get this. This is where I know this woman screwed up really, really bad. The timeline, okay? I think she admitted the truth. I think she did give him a warm bath. And I'll tell you why I think she gave him a warm bath. Now, remember, she gets home from work. She takes Paul to work. She doesn't even give a crap that this kid is in the bathtub. Okay. Then she comes back home. We don't know how long it took her, right? But my personal feeling is this. I think Timothy died in that bathtub or lost consciousness in that bathtub. And I do believe that she did give him a warm bath to try to alert, wake him up, or warm his body temperature up. That is just my personal feeling about it and my intuitional gut feeling of thinking her mindset. She comes across this and she plays it out as if she doesn't have any hand of knowledge in it at all whatsoever. So obviously she didn't pick up Paul. Remember this. Paul gets a ride home from one of his coworkers about 1:00 in the morning. He admits he didn't go and check on his brother. His mom is home, so why would he have to, right? Honestly, he's not babysitting his brother. His mom is home. That's probably his mindset, you guys. So he goes to bed, he wakes up, right? He's getting socks out of the laundry, and then all of a sudden his mom is up. Now remember the timeline. His mother is the one who calls Paul to get his attention. Okay? So this woman, I do believe, knew that her son was already passed that evening, and she probably didn't sleep well at all, and that's why she was up before Paul. I know she had to go to work, but we're trying to put our mindsets in her mindset, of thinking, why would you sit there and say that you gave him a warm bath? One, are you saying you gave him a warm bath to make us feel better that, you don't look like a shitty ass parent? And from one cold bath to a hot bath, so you're not feeling so bad about yourself? Or did you give him a warm bath because he lost consciousness and he was in the process of dying? And you thought maybe it would warm up his temperature because, if he dies cold, forensics will know, right? I don't think she really realized the in-depth capabilities of what a medical examiner does or what they can do. I really don't think she has a grasp on that. I mean, you got to understand, she goes and passes law school, right? She hasn't really practiced a case on her own. She's not independent. She's not in her private practice. And she made some stupid choices. And honestly, she dealt with appellant cases. She wasn't a criminal attorney, I don't think. But she wasn't a damn good attorney at all, if you think about it, because the whole thing she did was with intention, in my eyes. Totally. Yeah, if you want to put that in the chat, the YouTube channel, go ahead. I can't. I know it's something P. Fergie plays something. It's something. But if Star has it, she'll post it in the chat and you guys can have it. But by the way, on our last stream, did we talk more about Paul, or did we about his court testifying, or did we talk about Shonda? I can't remember, you guys. I need your help to help me remember. Yeah, that's the Facebook profile. But do you guys have the YouTube channel for Paul and his mom by chance? Okay, so Paul already testified about him and his mom removing Tim from the bathtub in the morning. So I must have missed that. So they're saying that Paul was removed from the tub in the morning. I could have heard, I swore I heard them say he was removed from the closet. That's what I remember hearing, that he was removed from the closet. He was laying on a tarp with a diaper on. And the mother yells and she gets him to help her move him out of the closet, dress him in his own brother's clothes, and then tries to make it look like he's sleeping on the bunk bed. Right? That's what I gathered. I know he was in the bathtub for over 9 plus, probably 11 hours or more. Right? But the one thing, oh, you don't have hers, not his? You have hers, but not his. Okay, well, we just post hers. If you got the YouTube for her, to go ahead and post in the chat. I will go ahead and have to look it up when I'm not on stream, and then I'll have to probably post it on the community page for you guys. That way you guys can check out the Facebook, and you can also check out the YouTube channels. Okay. She's got some funky name for her YouTube channel. Okay. But that's what I remember. Yeah, see, and the thing is the mother was at the house the entire evening with Timothy. Paul's at work, gets off at 1. She's the one who removes him from the tub. She removed him. And she put him in that closet with not a blanket, no clothes, just a diaper. How could you do that? I mean, seriously. And I think that's why she took him out of the tub and put him in the closet, because I think he was expired. I really do believe in my heart that kid was expired in the tub. I would love to ask the medical examiner, when you guys found him, got him, EMS, 911 was called, right? Granted, they're talking about the 18-minute gap. But there's a way to find out how long a body has been presumably dead. I am so curious if that is in his medical record. I mean, in his autopsy report. Oh, I should do a FOIA on that. Just to read it. I don't want no pictures though. Just to read the estimated time that his body was transforming the way it does. But they can give, like when police go to crime scenes, right? And they see people, that have been expired by homicide or whatnot, and they can give you an estimated time frame about how long that person has been deceased. That's what I want to know. How long was that kid dead? Because that, to me, it definitely justifies why she got the life sentence for murder and child abuse. But you would think, for somebody of her situation, and I would highly suspect that she's going to pull an appeal stunt. I really do. Everybody keeps saying, oh, when she's in prison, she's going to be a jailhouse lawyer, et cetera, et cetera. No, I think she's going to get slapped. I really do believe she's going to get bitch slapped. Okay. Because there's a lot of moms who kill their kids and stuff like that, and they've got their mental illness, they got their medical reasons. Yes, they do play victim and stuff, and they empathize. A lot of women will empathize with that. But there are some women in prisons that will not empathize with the way of the lengths of the extreme that somebody took to take a life. Okay. Like it was an accident, or you got into a DUI and you drove with your kids in the car. That they're more empathetic on that, I think, more so than they would be of setting a kid on fire. I don't know, but I don't. nobody, I don't think, has ever been able to ask any of these mothers who have killed their kids that are in prison now those questions. I don't think anybody's really interviewed people in those positions to ask them about their jail experience or their prison experience, you know? Um, I mean, I got friends that work for the prison too, and I hear stories all the time. Oh my God, it blows me away. But it's morely men, you know? And I know men's prisons are much harder than women's, but I think with her being a severe narcissist as she is, um, she ain't gonna make friends too easy. She's definitely not gonna make friends. And she's gonna go hungry for a while because people are gonna bitch up to her real quick. And she's gonna end up being someone's bitch. That's just how I look at it, you know. Um, I don't think she's got enough street smarts in her, personally. But yeah, if it was in rigor mortis, I'm not sure if it was or not. It may have been. I would believe it had been. Um, you know, obviously, yeah, something I don't think he's even shared in court as far as, you know, the state of the body. You know, I remember him saying it was cold. It was cold. So, you know, and maybe he thought it was just cold from the bath and didn't put two to two together that, you know, he was deceased. Who knows? I don't know. But obviously they dressed him in Paul's pants and Paul's belt. So uh, that's curious. Tonight must be a really bad. Oh, you know what's going on, you guys. And I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. And this is probably the lowest amount of people I've ever had on a stream. But that's okay. I'm okay. But I remember hearing there's a lot of shit going on YouTube streets right now. And everybody's into the drama right now. They could probably care less about this case. I'm fascinated with the psychology behind it and just the whys, you know. It just blows my mind away. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see if we can hear some of her testimony. Let me find it real quick. It's cute.
Children at home.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and my understanding is you faced other challenges personally in terms of your own personal health.
Yes, sir, I did.
For instance, let's run down the list. You had insomnia.
Severe insomnia caused by attention deficit hyperactivity disorder.
Okay.
Attention hyperactivity or whatever.
for
Let's
those
skip
folks
that.
When he came to us, he was on medication. They gave us a whole large gallon-sized Ziploc bag of medications for him. I could not refill them because I could not get him to the doctor. We were going to try to adjust his medication because when he came to live with us, when he took his medicine, he was a zombie. It was just horrific. And when Paul came to live with us, because Paul had only been there a year when Timothy moved up, sorry.
Mhm.
And when he was on the same big bag of medication, and there were serious concerns that they just, instead of handling, especially my ex, he wanted to
catch
medicate
that,
them.
you guys. Catch that part. Did you just catch that? Paul only lived with his mother a year prior to Timothy. Holy cow. So that's why I did a stream tonight, because I figured you guys would want a break from the drama and talk about other things. But yeah, holy cow. I must have missed that part. She just admitted that Paul had gotten there a year prior to Timothy. He was there for about a year. So it definitely does make sense with the dynamics of his personality trying to win over his mom's love, doing exactly what she tells him to do, plus also with the way her discipline or her technique or her approach, however you want to handle it, was towards him. There's a, I guarantee you there's probably a high probability that that kid was also abused, but in a different extreme because he was over the age of 18. So she used caution with him, but still took advantage of the situation. That's how I look at it. But that's amazing. Holy cow. And oh, another thing that you'll find on her Facebook, like I said, only 2 family pictures of Paul and Timothy. Both of those kids are pretty much excluded out of her equation, except for the other 2 she'll talk about prior to. But like I said, she's not even friends with him on Facebook.
But I never got that option because I couldn't take him to the doctor.
Yeah, bullshit, bitch.
They weren't in the, I think the next door was a 2-level, but the one on one side was just a single level. It may have had a basement, I don't know. But there was we watched football games on FaceTime, but I didn't get to see them after we moved up here.
Okay. Do you have a lot of friends in the area that will come by, will stop by on, maybe on?
Nope.
Does it happen to be in the area, that sort of
Nope.
thing? They'll come by and
She's
ever give any
antisocial.
instructions? You can't have people in this house?
Absolutely not.
Bullshit.
And what about the youngest child, G? Did he have any friends that for sleepovers or anything like that?
We didn't have any friends over for, no. He played baseball. Because of me not being able to get out, he didn't get out a lot. I mean, I wish I could have gotten him out more. That's why we put him in baseball, so he could get out. Even though I knew he wasn't coordinated, I thought he would enjoy it. And they said, yeah, sure, absolutely. And he did not want to go play.
Guys,
Let's
Is
talk
that-
about some of the things that have come up in this case. There were.
she made a decent income.
Okay.
Just a little
There were
under
leg
4 grand.
irons discovered in your home. Were you aware of those?
I was aware that Paul had them. You actually could look on my Amazon. Paul had the option to do payment on the Amazon as well as mine.
Uh-huh.
And Paul had actually ordered those under his account.
Okay.
He's probably
You did not order
instructed
them
by
like
his
that.
mother
did
to
not.
do it.
Did you ever use them?
No, sir. No, I
Wow.
never instructed.
Let's be in specific. Did you ever use them with Timothy?
No, sir.
Okay. Did you ever notice any bruising on Timothy's wrists or legs that might be attributable to the use of leg iron?
No, sir. I never saw anything like that.
You heard Paul talk about plastic
Never
ties.
saw anything.
What was that about?
I honestly don't remember.
Okay.
I don't know why we would order. I mean, I saw the ties. I don't remember ordering them. I don't know what happened there.
You're going to say, I don't remember a lot, aren't you?
Unfortunately, yes, because of the dissociation.
Okay. Explain to the jury what that means.
Well, I guess there's different forms. Somebody told me this. I did not find out about the PTSD and the disassociation until about 7 months after my husband's stroke, even though it had been going on since the stroke.
I need to place an objection on the record, and I think we're going to have to excuse the jury.
Amazing. This woman is just utterly amazing with her. I just found out about, but it's kind of interesting how Paul has similar diagnoses and she wants to claim the same diagnoses. I mean, I don't get that part, you guys. I really don't. So, where was he before? He was at his dad's house. And I would assume that he was in Florida. And from the family pictures that they had on their Facebook page, which everybody's going MIA or private, right? And I mean, there's people that even suggested her daughter, Millie, change her name. And her other son, his Facebook page, I mean, he's holding a damn shotgun or a rifle. It's a rifle. So it's like, now her other 2 kids obviously are, fine. They don't I don't know, just by looking on the outside appearance, it doesn't look like her oldest son has any disabilities of not. But, looks can be deceiving, right? We don't know because I've never heard his voice and never heard him talk. But, or his daughter. But like I said, physical appearance, you would think um, Paul had some type of autism spectrum or what was that one Marshall syndrome or something like that. I don't know. He kind of resembles that. I have to figure it out again. I was researching stuff and that came across and I was like, I can't remember the name of it again. But the Facebook of her made me kind of question, does she have a personality disorder or does she have schizophrenia? Is she hearing voices? Because she had said something about voices, hearing voices on that Facebook comment. So that kind of threw it off to a loop too. So, but all of the stuff that I read and researched into it, I mean, I spent a lot of time reading these comments. Oh my God. And when I came across that of her 3-hour visitation, and the two boys were at family members, like her sister-in-law or sister or something like that, or uncle. They were at the aunts or uncles. And the other two kids were elsewhere. So, yeah, it makes you question. But she was married to that guy, Eric. Now, will people look into him? Because as a result of his negligence and his disobedience of the court order, he was defiant, right? He goes and sends his kid off to his ex-wife. Then there's people saying, oh, was if this kid had disabilities, was he on Social Security? I doubt highly that he was on Social Security because, one, the mother makes too much money. When she filed her divorce, not the one that just died, but her divorce from Eric, there's some court documents. She clearly made over $3,000 a month. Okay. Her ex-husband made 2,800, a little over 2,800. So, she was making pretty darn good money, better money than her ex-husband. And it's Social Security would tack into that really quickly if, the mother had made that much money and the father makes that, yes, you can get SSI for a child, but if you're in a position where you're financially over that limit, they'll probably just, not give it to you. And if she was claiming it, then, that would be a fraud charge, etc. But would that be the reason why she didn't take him to a doctor? Was because if he was on SSI, the check either being mailed or deposited, if the father was receiving it and he's not giving her anything about it, and maybe that was an agreement between both of them, I won't tell the courts, but I'll give you Timothy, but I'm going to collect his Social Security. God knows some of these people do some weird shit, so it makes you wonder. But anyways, but you guys, that's some information you guys can think about, and it'll give you something to look into if you're curious. Like I said, I'll probably definitely follow this on the 29th. I'll probably end up following some newer cases too, just because, it's like really the world is falling apart. People are just crazy. I think something's in the water or something's in their food supply, I guess, because these people have really, literally lost their damn minds. There's just no way around it, I'll probably put together another live, but I'll probably have it more planned, more arranged better. Tonight's a work night for a lot of us, and there's a lot of stuff going on in the arena, and I just don't care to get involved with any of that. And I'm staying in my lane. I'm doing my own damn thing. I need calmness, stress free, and I like it right where I'm at. So, if y'all ever want to escape from all of that, you're always welcomed over here. I am going to try really hard to do a stream once a week. I'm going to try and get in that pattern. That's my New Year resolution goal. All right, to doing that. Hopefully I'll make some good changes. I am also seriously, I hate to even consider this, but it's a contemplation because of the situation with the YouTube streets. There's a high probability I may do private streams with memberships. I am going to look into that more thoroughly. I dabbled into the information a long time ago, but just not enough to get me anywhere, and just said to hell with it. I don't care. And I didn't follow through. But with all the stuff that is going on, I think it would be best for my channel to go and have memberships for streams, for lives that I just choose that my members should be entitled to view and also be in a peaceful environment. That way, we can avoid any of the other issues of the craziness. Now, everybody's been fine here. I've had no problems in my chats, and I think it's great. And just so y'all know, another reason why my streams probably have low numbers right now is because, one, I don't tag anybody. I don't advertise it. I just throw it up there. Okay. And yes, I took a hit with all that stuff this past year with losing subscribers and such. And that's fine. I'll regain, I'm not worried about it. But I want to be able to provide you guys things that are worth listening to and worth talking about. Things that I'm interested in as well. And so that way that's the direction that I'm trying to get at is I'll probably do that. And then I'll work on how to do newsletters and such. As far as, what I want to do. My newsletters are not going to be like everybody else's. They're going to be a little bit different. But that is what I'm working on, and I'm trying to get that going. So then it can be more personalized within my channel. And, the news will have little things about current events or, what's going on and, recipes and places to see and things to talk about, just little odds and ends. But I started working on one like over a year ago, and I just never finished it. But I just wanted to see, where I would go with it, but I didn't go anywhere at all. So I'm going to go ahead and try that this year. And I don't plan on making it like an expensive membership, you guys, at all, because I want everybody to be able to enjoy. But I also have the responsibility and the obligation to make sure that I provide you what I'm going to tell you I'm going to provide you with if you can have a membership, so it's a lot of responsibility on my part, and I've got to deliver. So and I've just got to make sure that my schedule is working with me to be able to allow myself that extra time to be able to doing that before I obligate. But that is something I'm definitely looking into to see how my schedule works with it and how I can make it work. So that'll be something to look forward to. But in the meantime, I gave you guys some things to think about and to look into. I will get his YouTube channel and the moms and Facebook, and I'll go ahead and post that on my community page so you guys can go ahead and look into it. If you've got that social media, he's also got a TikTok page too. Um, I'll get that for you too. I don't have TikTok, so I can't show you the videos. Otherwise, I would. But that way, you guys have that information and you guys can look into it. But I really would love to write him a letter, though. God, I would really love to write that kid a letter. I will. I think I will. If I don't get a response, I don't get a response, you know. But I, you know, I really do think that kid needs a good support system. It's unfortunate, but it's been over an hour and a half. I know it's probably the shortest stream I've ever had. I'm going to make it short, easy, simple, and because I got to go to work and go to sleep. And but thank you guys for showing up tonight. I appreciate it, and I get to practice on you guys every time I do a stream, so it's kind of neat. You know, I have no judgment from you guys, just nothing but love, and I appreciate that. Because, you know, I pushed these buttons and things weren't working, and I was like, ah, darn it, really? Did I forget about it already? I mean, seriously. You got to have some serious hand and eye coordination for this, you know, you guys, and I need an assistant. You know, like that's why people have professional studios. You know, they got one person doing this and this person's got a remote control and they switch the screens and it's all fancy. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get there one day. Trust me, I'll get there one day. Mm-hmm. Because I think I need one of those buttons. But thank you guys for showing up. You guys enjoy your evening. Don't get into too much trouble on YouTube streets, and I'll go ahead and post notice of when I'll do the next live. It'll probably be this weekend. Shoot, sorry, I'm yawning so much. I'm tired. Long day today. Started early at 5 o'clock this morning. But yeah, maybe I can do one on Sunday or something. But I won't do at the same time Salty because I enjoy hanging out with Salty and exposing. So, you know, I definitely will not do it on the times they stream because I enjoy being a guest, a panel guest, and I like to be in the chat too. So, um, but I'll definitely keep you guys posted, let you know what's coming next. And in the meantime, thank you guys so much for showing up. And thank you for your super stickers and super chats, supporting the channel, showing your love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys have a good night, and I'll talk to you soon. Back to music. Since it's down to my people, I got to share. Oh, congratulations, Cat K. She's going to be a grandma. Congratulations. That is so awesome. Perfect. Well, time to go shopping, right? All right. You guys have a good night. I'll talk to you later. I got to figure out what I'm doing here. There we go. We'll play a video.